What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, man. Today, another unorthodox type of review. I've been talking a lot about iOS 13, all these different things, so much about iPhones that I haven't even talked about some of the main tools that I use almost all the time for making these videos, editing them. And one of the main ones that I used in the past is the Magic Mouse. Now, this is the Magic Mouse 2. I've owned it for about a year and a half, and I used to use it, sorry for the brightness, but I used to use it all the time when I purchased it back, I think in like 2017. And really, since then, I haven't really picked it up too much because I have bought a Magic Trackpad, and I honestly don't even use that much either. But recently, I started using this a little bit more. I found some ways to incorporate it back into it. If I'm traveling or something, I can bring this with me. So it's really not, just sitting there all the time. I would say I probably didn't use it for like a year almost. It was just sitting on my desk. A little bit of history though. This thing came out in 2015. It replaced the original Magic Mouse. And the original one, if you remember, honestly, it kind of looks exactly like this, but it had a battery compartment on the bottom instead of a lightning port, which I'll get into in a second. So you'd have to manually pick it out, put in the batteries, put that battery back in, put the battery thing, whatever, and then you can use it then, which honestly, this mouse and that mouse really share a lot of similarities. There's not a lot of difference between them. So if you want an even cheaper alternative to this thing, you can always pick that one up if you don't mind replacing the batteries once in a while. Build-wise for this thing, man, I will tell you right now, this is not a bad piece of hardware. This thing still feels very, very premium mouse. And I used to have a lot of Bluetooth mouses back in the day, like the cheap ones you would get from Amazon and just sync them up with your device and you can use it. But those were just so bad quality. They were like $15, $20. And yeah, you could probably spend more and get an even better mouse from a different company, but I probably went through 5 or 6 of those in my span of using mouses, and those would probably last a couple months at a time. And the earlier ones I had, you had to switch out the batteries, but then I got rechargeable ones, and I always ran into problems with those things. With this Magic Mouse though, I will definitely say it's held up very, very well. Very rarely have I ran into problems with it in terms of hardware. Every single time I use it or I do anything with it, it's a very solid piece of hardware. It's never broken on me. It still feels very, very tactile. I don't feel like it's going to break or anything, which is a huge plus when you're buying something. You want to buy something for life. You don't want to buy it and then replace it every single 6 months or something. This is a really cool thing about the Magic Mouse 2. Now, overall, it is a pretty basic mouse, but it does come with some cool features on top. It is somewhat like a trackpad kind of thing. If you, maneuver it around a little bit, you can scroll through pages, you can scrub through things, you can, swipe back and forth, go through pages in Safari, and it's really, really cool in that sense. And, I really have a lot of respect for Apple for kind of making a hybrid mouse and trackpad in a way. I don't have some annoying scrolly thing that goes every time I mess with it. It just, it's a piece of glass up top and it's just a trackpad kind of on top of it. I still have to manually move the mouse every time you want to move the cursor, but it's still really cool that you have that ability. You can also, as far as I know, zoom into pages, but I've had trouble doing that for some reason. I don't know if it's my mouse or if it's, uncompatible with macOS Mojave sometimes, but I don't know what's going on there. So that is a little bit of an issue, but it's really not that bad. Now, it's not all perfect. There are 2 things that I kind of dislike about this specific mouse. The one thing is the top part, it's super clicky, man. Every single time I do anything with it, you can probably hear from here, the mic's pretty far. This thing is just so clicky and it's just so loud that, if I'm doing something, it sounds like I'm literally tapping on and it gets kind of annoying. I have my Magic Trackpad and you can kind of turn that off. At first, I thought it was kind of a vibration motor, like what the Magic Trackpads have, but with Force Touch, but as you can see, it's actually a physical button that's clicking and it's kind of annoying a little bit. And you can say every single mouse has that, but I've had some Bluetooth mouses that were silent, so don't know what's going on there. And the second most annoying thing, as you guys probably already know, is a lightning port. This is so obnoxious. I don't know why they put it right there. And at first I thought you would be able to use it while it's even still plugged in by leaving the charger port out on the side of a desk and you can maneuver it there, but that's not the case. You can't even have this plugged in and still find a way to use it. It has to be fully disconnected, which is weird because you can use a Magic Trackpad like that and even a Magic Keyboard plugged in, but you can't use this plugged in. And I don't know why they did this. They should have put it right here, or at least in the back side of it. It's a very poor thing that they chose there. I mean, they could have done so many different ways about it, so I don't know what they were thinking. But the battery life is pretty good, so you won't be charging this thing every single day. You'll be charging it maybe every other month at the most. The battery life on this thing is very, very good. You also have an on-off switch right here. If you ever want to turn it on or turn it off, you have that ability. And like I said, if you're planning on using a mouse long-term, this is probably the best bet. I think in 2019, it still holds up very well 4 years later. I don't think there's really too much competition. I mean, of course, if you want a gaming mouse or something, go for it. That's probably a better choice. But in terms of something for office use and professional use or whatever, if you're a creative or whatever, this is a pretty good mouse in my opinion. It's definitely not a gaming mouse. Go for, whatever gaming options there are. But I think this is a very solid option. I don't feel like it's about to break on me even, a year and a half owning it. I think it's been a pretty solid investment in a way. I do primarily use the Magic Trackpad though, but I do think that there is a time and place to use something like this if you're traveling somewhere, if you're going somewhere, if you're a student and you just want to. So ultimately, I think it's a good investment overall. So they're about like $79 now. They might be a little bit cheaper on eBay, but it really doesn't matter. They're probably still going to be selling over $50, so you might as well get a new one. I'll leave a link to the cheapest one I find on Amazon. I'll link it straight below, and you guys can help support the channel at the same time. But man, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. All those links are linked down below. I would really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.